gonna give you my opinion right off the bat. If you could avoid buying a Werner LeverLock 2-piece paddle, avoid it. And I'm going to go into why. I'm going to show you my paddles. I have two. One's brand new, one's 4 years old. The problems I've had, the way I've had to resolve it. Also, a friend of mine emailed Werner trying to get information that was ignored. The Werner Paddles is a family-owned business. They're selling the business. It's being sold to Jackson Kayaks in Tennessee. There's probably going to be changes with the paddles, but if you need a 2-piece paddle because you have different paddle boards like I do, or whatever your situation is, if you could get like the type of 2-piece paddle where there's a pin mechanism instead of the lever lock, I suggest you do that. Now, there is a workaround that I'm going to show you, but you know what? People should not have to do this. I know I'm not the only one. I'm not doing anything wrong with the paddles. They're clean. The shafts are being cleaned when they're taken apart. Always has been. You know what? It's because of the materials that Werner has chosen to use. They know there's a problem with these lever locks. They've been manufacturing them the same for years. And they don't like me because, I'm basically challenging. They won't even respond on the phone. If I say, well, I can't be the only one, they won't say nothing. They just stay silent. Now, they have sent me parts, so thank you for the parts. But you're sending me the parts because you know there's a known problem with your product and how the materials you're using, and that should be changed. So if Jackson Kayaks gets to see this video, change the materials. And frankly, all you have to do is change the stopper. Yeah, so I got it rigged up on, I have a short bed truck, so that's what I do. But I really like it. I'm going out in the Delaware. It's windy today. So this is my paddle. So this lever lock, I actually wrapped my most of my paddle with electrical tape. Usually I only do the blade and maybe up to the shaft up to here. But I went all, I guess 3/4 of the way up because I didn't want to damage my new board. And it's still a little unsteady on it. I haven't fallen off, but it's just really to keep my board from getting damaged right now. I'll take most of this tape off. But the thing is, my other board is an SIC Maui Pro Light, and that's 12'6" by 24 5/8 inches wide. It's an older board. I think it's from like 2017. It's not a dugout board like this one is. And for that board, I used this same paddle at the 5-inch mark. So this is a 70 to 78-inch paddle. And this has been getting, from the very beginning, I've had a problem with this lever lock. It just gets jammed. Because I can't be the only one with this problem, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to pour some cold water on here. Okay. Now putting it down here, it only goes to the stopper, and I've tried that, no big deal. So this won't budge. These two pieces will not separate whatsoever. I'm going to show you what I do to get these two pieces separate. What I'm doing is, not the easiest thing to do. I don't have my phone on the tripod, but look, it'll screw right out. I couldn't do it before because these stoppers and the replacements as well that you could buy with the cable assembly. They'll send you the cable assembly with this part of the lever lock right here. Now, if I have this too loose, it doesn't work on this end, because what I did was I took, I put these together, quite a few times. The cotter pin, I don't know, you hold back on the cotter pin and then you could just you run up your nut and your washer. But the thing is, the size of the stopper, when you get it from Werner, in my opinion, is too big. Because I've done this with multiple stoppers that are brand new. Some of them are a little bigger than the shaft. Some of them, they're flush with the shaft when you put a new assembly together. But I don't know if you could see the grooves on this. What I did, these are not rubber. I know that for a fact. I took the stopper off. I took the assembly apart. I took the stopper off and I used a sharp utility blade. The stopper is supposed to be your adjustment. This is not supposed to expand in the shaft of the paddle, which is right here. Now, to me, the carbon fiber shaft of the paddle and the shaft of the handle are two different materials. There's some kind of variation. This doesn't even look like it's carbon fiber. I don't see any carbon fiber in it like you do with the rest of the paddle. I'm going to call and see if I can get an answer out of them. But this is expanding at a different rate than the carbon fiber paddle, which I got here, right? And then to me, this stopper, it's retaining memory. When you tighten up on your nut and make your adjustment, the washer pushes down on the stopper. You're pulling it in by adjusting the nut, right? And then you got your lever lock, right? Now this could be really, really loose. And when it's really, really loose, the cable's too loose, your stopper's too loose, and your stopper is pulling away from the shaft. And then that's creating drag in the paddle shaft. So you can't pull the stopper out to a point where it's creating drag, So what I did, once I trimmed this stopper, you could see this is not even, but you know what? It works. This will expand in the sun, especially when it's hot. I mean, I'm just talking about out there paddling. Even once it's in my car, it's not coming apart with the air conditioning on. So this expands at a different rate than the carbon fiber paddle shaft. And then this is retaining memory. When you lock in your lever lock, the washer is depressing this stopper, and then this stopper is creating a memory on its own where it doesn't revert back to the original size of the stopper. It's slightly off, it's hanging up. So I eliminated this problem. Now when I get home and I hose this shaft down, it comes right apart. But I have the lever lock tight enough where the stopper is still grabbing the inside of the carbon fiber paddle shaft once I depress the lever lock. This stopper is the issue. The rest I could get undone. If this expands, the carbon fiber shaft expands. They're expanding at different rates, but once I hose it off. Now you could use the ice trick where you pack your paddle in ice, right? It wasn't even releasing with the stopper issue. Now this is the resolution if you're out there and you're having a problem with these. Okay, so first I'm going to take the assembly apart. The nut's already loose, so just pull the cotter pin, take the nut off. See, for those of you that think, take the washer off. Okay, slide the washer off. This is a pretty simple operation here. Okay, but first I want to show you what the actual stopper looks like here. This is punched out as a D, a capital D as in David. So if you're thinking you're going to be able to go buy your own stoppers, maybe a little smaller, you're not going to be able to, because it's got these ridges on the back that actually fit into this. Okay, so this gives you the added bonus where you're basically, you know, it's a good engineering design where, you know, it attaches the stopper to the handle with these raised areas, right? But see, this is a D shape. See that? It's a D. And so you can't really just go buy your own stoppers, and it's sealed here. See here? It's sealed. And I'm assuming this is fiberglass on the carbon fiber paddle, because there's no way to really see in there. It could be plastic. The handle probably is plastic. This is plastic. But they're not telling you what this is. My friend emailed the company, hasn't gotten a response. And you know, they're selling the paddle as a carbon fiber paddle. It's actually foam in there as well, in your carbon fiber paddle. But I suspect this piece is not even fiberglass. It's probably plastic. Okay, so now I got the parts separated. And all I'm going to do, oh, there you go. I'm just going to take my knife. This blade's fairly new, excuse me. Instead of fixing their problem, they want to just send you parts. Now, I've read online you could, you know, if you wanted to, if you had like a belt sander kind of a thing, and it's, you know, rubber, if it was rubber, this is not rubber. There's no way this is rubber, okay? Rubber would not shave like this. You could freeze the rubber stopper, freeze it, and then try to shave it down by rotating it off on a belt sander, you know, with a fine belt. Yeah. Thank you, Werner. I only bought a second paddle because I had too much invested in the first paddle. If you could go with another company like Quick Blade, or, you know, there's a lot of companies. Now you got Starboard, you know, your high-end paddle boards like NSP. Even NSP has paddles. But you know what? Probably Werner's making them. Some company in China, Thailand. No problem there. But it's the specifications of the paddle. And you're not going to know that. You're not going to know that until you buy it. And then some of them, you know, you got problems with the handle. You get a one-piece paddle and the handle snaps right off of it. I would think, now I only paddle, I have a flat water board. It's a displacement. Might as well go get the other half of my paddle. I'll be back. Okay, so I went and got my new paddle. I'm just going to put this back together. Yeah. I guess it's good enough as far as I'm concerned. That's how much I took off. These are plastic, polypropylene, whatever. I guess we're not going to know because Werner's not going to tell my friend. So I'm not going to find out either. So. Yep. Let me get this. All right. These cables are pressed together. I don't know if this is recording. These cables are pressed together. Yeah, I even thought about making up my own cables, but and getting the right size stopper. But yeah, it's not gonna happen. So basically, you just disengage this for right now, and you gotta fit the grooves in, right? See the difference here? You don't want it loose like that at all, even just a little bit. It's got to be tight. You know, I made an initial video about this and Werner actually watched it. They knew what I was saying about that loose stopper, because I thought maybe if I loosened up on the stopper, it would help with this situation. The only thing helping with this situation is the size of the stopper. Okay, so I got it together, right? You could see that. I'm trying to assume that you could see this here. This is my brand new paddle. I'll lay it down here. All right. Disengaged. Let's just put it down to 3, even though this paddle I'm going to be using at 5-inch. So even though I trimmed this stopper down, right now I got both parts. I'm twisting it. It's not going anywhere, okay? It doesn't have to be completely round. It just has to grab. Now, there you go. There's your resolution. I'm glad I'm actually going to tighten this up a little bit more. Just make sure that pin, you know, this isn't twisting, but this is simple. We're good to go. There's no water that's going to seep, very little, if any. You're not going to get a bunch of water in your shaft here just by shaving it down. As you can see, let me hold this up. This is by no means perfect. It is to shave it down. They're making these stoppers too big. So I hope you learned something, because I did, by investigating this process. And don't use the lubricants, none of them. I bought the graphite powder. I bought, you know, the Tri-Flow, which I use on my bicycle chain. All those, just don't do it. Everybody's talking about that stuff online. You're just going to gum up the inside of your paddle shaft. If you deal with the stopper, just the stopper, you'll be fine. You'll always be able to take the two parts, separate the two parts, the LeverLock handle away from your paddle. Okay, so I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.